Hi everybody, welcome to PinkyTech. I'm Joe, and today I've got an $800 gaming PC build for you. Now I know, GPUs, I can hear you guys already. Yeah, trying to find reasonably priced GPUs right now is like trying to play pool with a rope. It's difficult. That being said, this PC that we're putting together today will have all the bells and whistles in it, so later on down the road when inventory and prices stabilize, God knows whenever that will be, you'll be able to just do a GPU swap and put in a 3070, 3080, 6800 XT, one of those bigger, nicer graphics cards that we've been told exist but don't actually exist. You'll be able to put it in and just switch out your GPU and get even more performance out of the system. So we're going to go over the parts, we'll do some benchmarking, and I'll have timestamps down in the description below, so if you need to jump around, feel free to do so. But while you're down there, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and without further ado, let's get into the parts. Alright guys, first up today we have the CPU, and today we've got the Intel 10400. Now this is a 6-core, 12-thread processor with similar performance to the Ryzen 5 3600, only it costs about $150, and you can actually find it pretty much anywhere. It's been available Newegg, Micro Center, Amazon, etc., all for under $150, and is a fantastic chip to start with. Moving on to the motherboard, we have got the MSI B460M pro-vdh, and this is a Wi-Fi board. So you have the integrated Wi-Fi, you also have a heatsink over the VRM, so a pretty nice board, and it also does come with a RGB and an ARGB header. And speaking of the ARGB header, this is going to be important because we're actually putting on the Vitru V5 CPU cooler. Now this cooler comes in at about $25 with the current promotions that are running. Has a nice big 5 copper heat pipe heatsink on it, and it has an ARGB fan. So it plugs right into the motherboard. It also has a 4-pin PWM connector for the fan, so you can control the fan speed, you can control the ARGB all through your motherboard. For RAM today, nothing fancy. We have that same 2x8 gig, 16 gig kit of Alloy memory. This is clocked at 3000 megahertz, but keep in mind, RAM speeds for Intel chips aren't as important as they are for Ryzen chips. Plus, the 10400 and the B460 chipset only support speeds up to 2666 anyway, so no need to go out and get you a 3600 megahertz kit for this because it ain't running that fast. For storage today, we have the Inland Professional 1TB NVMe drive, and this drive is not the fastest one on the market for NVMe drives, but it is an upgrade from the SSDs. You may or may not notice it much. If you want to see how much you may or may not notice it, check out this video where I compared SATA SSDs to NVMe drives. And while it probably is not going to be a noticeable performance difference for you, it is actually going to help out getting an NVMe drive in this type of budget because you're not going to have to deal with the extra SATA cables or putting in an additional drive for games. For the case today, we've got the Deepcool Matrix 50, and this is a pretty standard case for the sub $50 price range. I actually picked this one up for about $39 on Amazon Warehouse, which is a good place for you to actually check for some of these parts. But the case doesn't really come with any fans. It does come with, I guess, one fan or maybe two, something like that, but there's nothing flashy. There's no RGB or anything. So to kind of help that and to make this $800 gaming PC look the part, I went ahead and got a 3-pack of Antec RGB fans to go with it. For the PSU, if you've watched my last couple videos, you're probably not going to be shocked here, but we did go with the Aries Game PSU as well. Right now, this is probably the best value PSU that we can find. I did put in the 750 watt unit here, which is semi-modular, and it is a pretty nice unit, especially since we're not adding the additional SATA cables. No need to have the extra cables stuffed into the bottom of the PSU shroud. And now for the moment everyone's been waiting for, we have the graphics card. Now, I completely overpaid for this graphics card, so it cost $225, and it is the, you guessed it, the Sapphire RX 570, the 4GB version. Now, these cards typically are going for between $200 and $250, which is a lot of money for an RX 570 4GB card. We used to be able to get RX 580s, the 8GB versions, for $200 new. It's just a graphics card market, guys. Flame me in the comments down below if you want to, but it is what it is. It's probably still the best value because you can game 1080p on this thing for pretty much any game at medium settings and still hit over 60 FPS, as you'll see in some of the benchmarks that we ran here. So it is a good value. It is, yes, very overpriced. However, it'll get you by until you get in the shuffle or EVGA finally calls you back and returns your call and tells you, you can go on a date now and pay the $500 or $600 or $800 for whatever card you're trying to get from them. But like I said, graphics card market being what it is, you got something you can game. And like I said, with all these components that you've put into the system, when you do finally get a better graphics card or an opportunity to buy a better graphics card, you can certainly swap it out and you're not really going to have to change any of the other components. That 10400 plus the 750 watt power supply will run with anything up to a 3080 and a 6800 XT. All right, and with that out of the way, cue the overly aggressive benchmarking montage here. All right, guys, there you go. $800, and you got a gaming PC that you can use now and is still ready for the future and putting in additional upgrades as well. So if you liked the video, make sure you like. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe. If you want to see a different budget build, let me know in the comments down below. And as always, guys, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.